Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. You are listening to the Daly Dose Sports Podcast, and I am your host, Clint Daly, coming to you from my high city here in Denver, Colorado, and we are back for another week of talking sports with a dose of common sense. Hey, happy Wednesday to you. Hope your week is going well. Hope you, your family, your friends, everyone in your world is staying strong and healthy right now. And even though NFL free agency is still a week away, we're starting to get some NFL moves taking place. I mean, all these moves are an attempt for these teams to pare salary cap space in preparation for that free agency period, which does start at noon next Monday. We've got a few things going on. The Minnesota Vikings have told running back Aaron Jones and defensive tackle Javon Hargrave they're going to be released. The Kansas City Chiefs have told right tackle Jawan Taylor he's going to be gone. The Indianapolis Colts are going to place that franchise tag on their quarterback Daniel Jones. I think they're going to try to buy some time there. The Washington Commanders have told cornerback Marshawn Lattimore he is going to be gone. And our Daly Dose I-Team president, Big Rob, it looks like he was totally accurate when we did our NFL postseason show. When he said that it was time for Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray to retire, well, the Cardinals have announced they're going to release him next week. And the Detroit Lions are trading running back David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for a 5th-round pick, which eliminates that logjam they kind of had in Detroit and also gives the Texans a bona fide starter since Joe Mixon was injured so much this past year. Hey, that seems to be a move that helps both teams. It helps Detroit. It also helps Houston. Although, unless David Montgomery plays quarterback, it's not going to fix all of the Texans' offensive issues. I'll say that right now. Hey, today on the Dose, we are continuing to get you ready for March Madness. Today, we're going to start looking at the best teams and the best players in college hoops this year. And we will have a return of the Daly Dose Top 5 today. There is a growing concern about one of the best players in college basketball this year. Going to see if it has any historical significance. But first, we have a little bit more news to get to. And we don't talk much about NASCAR, but Tyler Reddick's latest win has driven him straight into NASCAR record books. Reddick held off hard-charging Shane Van Gisbergen over the final 20 laps at the Circuit of the Americas on Sunday and became the first Cup Series driver to win the first 3 races of the season. Now remember, Reddick drives a Toyota that is co-owned by Michael Jordan, but Reddick won the opening season Daytona 500 and then won a week later at Atlanta and then won the first road course of the year this past week as well. Of course, Jordan, the Basketball Hall of Famer and 6-time NBA champion, was in Reddick's pits to celebrate as he was exchanging high fives as Reddick crossed the finish line. And I mean, once again, Michael Jordan just doing things that the GOAT does, just continuing to win, just doing things that no one else does. If it isn't bad enough that you're wearing his shoes, remember, not only did he win in the NBA at all levels, not only did he dominate the NBA at all levels, he's winning in NASCAR. Who saw that one coming? Finally, college basketball, we're going to be talking about it a lot today, but we see some flaws in the college game. And I'll be honest, when all the movement has been going around all these college athletics, I thought college basketball might be in trouble. Honestly, I don't know. College basketball seems like it's thriving. We're having a ton of talent staying in college basketball. And now that they get paid, that's easier for them to do. But I can't say that it's all good. And here was an example of that. Over the weekend, USC forward Chad Baker-Mazara, the Trojans' leading scorer, it was announced was no longer a member of the basketball program. That's what they said on Monday. Baker-Mazara left Saturday's home loss to number 12 Nebraska early in the second half, following a hard fall after he blocked a shot. Baker-Mazara told head coach Eric Musselman he couldn't go back in. And then, instead of sitting on the bench, he sat near injured USC star Rodney Rice with the fans instead of with the team on the bench. Asked whether it was customary for Baker-Mazara to be sitting next to the fans, Musselman said it was because there's a shortage of chairs on the bench. Okay. But Baker Mazzara, a 26-year-old graduate student, transferred to USC last spring as the 5th stop of his college career. He committed to Duquesne out of Spire Academy in Ohio. Then he transferred to San Diego State after his freshman year. Then he spent a year in junior college at Northwest Florida State. Then he went to Auburn. Now he's at USC. Oh, and now they kicked him off the team. Now, I could be wrong. And I hate to be old man get off my lawn guy. But once again, I feel like we are seeing the adults fail the kids. Why? Because they refuse to tell them no. Hey, this kid has transferred 5 times in 4 years. And now he's getting kicked off his final team. He probably won't even get drafted. Oh, I know. We think we're doing these kids favors by letting them do whatever they want. But here's the problem. It doesn't work that way. And the adults fail the kids when they refuse to be adults and tell the kids, you know what? I know you're a kid and you think you know everything, but actually you don't. And you're going to end up causing more damage in the future to your career than what you should. You need to stop and listen to an adult. But you know what? The adults don't want to be adults. The adults want to be their buddies. Hey, if you want to transfer, that's your right. Go ahead and transfer. This kid has never been told no in his life, and now he's being told no. And now he's kicked off the Trojans basketball team. And now he's not going to get drafted. And now he'll be lucky to play in the G League. Well done, adults. Good job adulting. So the NCAA tournament is actually coming quickly. Do you realize that Selection Sunday is already in less than 2 weeks? That is on March 15th. And once again, while we do have some big dogs and we're starting to see a little bit of separation, this tournament is going to be wild. It's going to be wide open. Why? Because there's not a single team that we're looking at as just being a clear-cut favorite. Hey, but maybe right now you haven't fully dove into college basketball just yet. Well, we know you're going to be filling out that March Madness bracket. You might be filling out that one here at Daly Dose. So you need to know a few things. And never fear, we will be getting you ready to fill out those brackets over the next couple of weeks. Well, let's start today. Let's take a look at some of the big dogs in the country. Who are the teams that are going to be getting those top seeds? If you aren't familiar, here are the teams that are going to be the favorites in a few weeks when those brackets get released. As usual, the Duke Blue Devils are going to be a heavy favorite. Duke currently has just 2 losses. And while the ACC isn't what it used to be, I mean, it's still solid. And Duke has now beaten 9 ranked teams already. They're probably not as talented as they were last year. But once again, head coach John Shire has brought in the top recruiting class in the country, and this team is stacked. Now, is there a chance they'll get beaten by a veteran group when the stakes get higher in this tournament? Sure. But there's also a chance that they get rolling and they win it all. Next up, I know that every year after the NCAA tournament here at the Daly Dose, we hand out some annual awards. And one award we hand out every year is the Arizona Award. And we give that to the team that is the highest ranked and then gets knocked out early in the tournament. Why? Because that's what Arizona does every year.
How dare you?
But I'll tell you this Arizona team, they just keep proving they're for real. Speaking of beating ranked teams, the Wildcats have now beaten 11 ranked teams. Hey, Arizona can score big points, and that backcourt duo of Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries, that is a dangerous combo. And we know guards can carry you in the tournament. Hey, Arizona is for real this year. We'll see if they can avoid that Arizona curse of what they usually do in the tournament. But Arizona is real. The Michigan Wolverines are another program that is capable of winning it all. Head coach Dusty May, he needs to get some more production from his guards, but when they produce, hey, Michigan can play with anyone. The Wolverines are very good in the front court, so when their guards play well, they are extremely dangerous. And when Michigan loses, you can usually just look at that guard stat line and go, oh yeah, that was the reason they struggled. They recently lost to Duke. Why? Their guards didn't play well, and specifically, they didn't shoot the ball very well. Oh, but when they do, yeah, Michigan's a contender. They could win it all. Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies are definitely back to being a contender, but I will preface that with the warning, UConn could be a little bit buyer beware. Hey, the Huskies are capable of beating anyone, as evidenced with wins over both Arizona and Florida. Then again, UConn can also lose to Creighton. They lost to a very inconsistent St. John's team. The Big East is not what it has been. It is down this year. So which UConn team are we going to get? You never know. Having said that, the Huskies are very good defensively. And if they're playing well defensively and they get a little bit of offense, yeah, you could be in trouble. UConn is a contender. I know they're coming off of a tough loss over this past weekend to Texas Tech, but the Iowa State Cyclones, they can hang with anybody. They've got wins over Houston, Kansas, and Purdue. And this Iowa State team is building one of the most impressive resumes in the country. They have a 10-4 mark in the Big 12. That's pretty good because the Big 12 might be the best conference in the country. Iowa State can score big points. And if they play like anything resembling defense, yeah, the Cyclones are going to be very, very dangerous. They could be a tough out in this tournament. Now, they need to close out strong. But if they do, I think Iowa State has an outside chance to be a number 1 seed, probably a 2 or a 3 seed pretty easily. Keep an eye on Iowa State. The Houston Cougars recently lost 3-4 games in a row, and that's a tad disturbing. But those 3 losses were to good teams. I mean, losing to Iowa State, losing to Arizona, losing to Kansas, and those games were on the road. But the Cougars righted the ship on Saturday as they had a 40-point win over Colorado. As usual, Houston's defense is elite under head coach Kelvin Sampson. But if their offense goes stagnant, well, that's when they get in trouble. But we also remember what they did last year in this tournament. And they were just grinding teams up with that defense. And then they were grinding teams up on offense, getting high percentage shots. If Houston gets back to playing that way, I don't know. You can beat them, but you're in for a tough 40 minutes. And for that reason, I would make Houston a contender. A couple more teams here that I will put as our contenders. Now, this next one, it might be a little too high for them. I'm still not completely sold on their guards, but beware of the defending national champion, Florida Gators. Head coach Todd Golden has the best front court in the country. With Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, and Ruben Chinilu, they are loaded. They can block shots. They can contest everything. They can out-rebound you. They can crash the offensive glass. But we also know in the tournament, you've got to have guards. And my concern for Florida is their guards are young, but they are talented. And the longer this season goes, the more experience they're getting, they won't be quite as young anymore by the time we get to the tournament. Hey, if those guards step up, yeah, Florida is a legit contender to repeat this year because they are good and they are deep. That front court is nasty. The final team I'm going to list as a favorite going into the NCAA tournament is the Purdue Boilermakers. And yes, I know Purdue lost 3 games in a row just a few weeks ago. And then they followed that up by losing back-to-back games to Michigan State and Ohio State this past week. But, you know, we talk about it all the time. When you've got good guards, and Purdue might have the best duo in the country with Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, I mean, as a tournament team, teams are going to have problems with you. Their offense is extremely efficient. We know head coach Matt Painter is one of the best offensive coaches in the country. They need to be better defensively. They need to be better, particularly rebounding the basketball. But I mean, with those guards, yeah, I'll still make Purdue a contender. I'm still holding out hope that they're going to figure things out. But as you can see from this list, I mean, we've got a few contenders. But as you can also see from this list, none of them are unbeatable. And that's a good thing because it means this tournament is going to once again be wide open. We're going to have upsets and buzzer beaters coming, and I am here for all of it. Okay. But who are the top players to watch going into this tournament? I mean, you think back to some of the great individual players in the NCAA tournament. Guys like Danny Manning and Glenn Rice and Christian Laettner and Austin Carr. Hey, if a great player gets hot in this tournament, they can carry their teams for a few rounds. So, who are the best players to keep an eye on this year? Keep one thing in mind with regards to this tournament. NBA scouts are already predicting this coming draft class to possibly be generational. I'm telling you right now, the NCAA tournament is going to be stacked with good players. And we will start with a program that you might not think of when we're talking about some of the better teams in March Madness. Oh, but they might have the best player in the country, because BYU's AJ Debonsa is only a freshman, but he's a 6'9" wing player. He's got a massive wingspan. He's got elite athleticism. Debonsa currently leads the country in scoring average with 25 points per game. Yes, his outside shooting, it probably needs to be more consistent. Oh, but he can get to the paint anytime he wants to. And if he does, because of his length, he can get your team in foul trouble. Debonsa is a guy that is capable of carrying the BYU Cougars maybe a little bit further than you would expect. He is definitely a player to watch. Next up, this guy is leading the ACC in points at 22.8 and in rebounds at 10. Of course, the Duke Blue Devils are one of the top teams in the country, and a good part of that is because of superstar freshman Cameron Boozer. The son of former Duke great Carlos Boozer. Hey, Cameron is quite a player in his own right. He is dominating right now. And it just seems like when Duke needs a bucket, when Duke needs a big play, when Duke needs to kind of stem the tide or get rolling, yeah, Cameron Boozer just steps up and finds a way. He will be a key player to watch this year. One more player before we go to break, and then I've got a few more for you. But I've got a player that is going to be interesting to watch. I'm not sure if it's going to be good or if it's going to be bad, because he has been controversial in Lawrence, Kansas. But there is no question that Kansas freshman Darren Peterson is one of the most talented players in the country. Hey, Peterson is an explosive athlete. He can create his own shot. He can get his feet in the paint whenever he wants to. He literally might be the best player in the country. Here's the problem. He doesn't seem to love to play basketball. He keeps tapping out of games. He keeps asking head coach Bill Self to remove him even during clutch times of a game. And when they ask him later, why did you want to come out late in the game with things on the balance? He says, well, I had cramps. I don't know what to make of him. Darren Peterson is talented enough to carry the Kansas Jayhawks a long way in the tournament. He could carry them all the way to the title. Then again, he might just have to come out and not play. Who knows? And what I'm interested in, what will it mean for his draft status in the spring? Gonna see what NBA teams make of him. A little more on Darren Peterson later in the show. Hey, remember, you should be stopping by DailyDoseSports.com every week to see what new things we have going on over there. We have links to the podcast, we have links to videos, and I do post a new article every single week. This week, we talked a little bit about the Denver Nuggets. How worried should they be? They're not playing all that well as of recently, so make sure you stop by there and check that out. We do have links to Daly Dose gear over there as well. If you need a t-shirt, a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a baseball cap, you can pick it in the color that you want. So make sure you stop by there. And remember, you can always email the podcast at dailydosesports@gmail.com. We do hear regularly from listeners, and we'll always take the time to respond to you. We just might end up using what you send in on the show, so feel free to reach out. We always want to hear what you have to say. Okay, so continuing with some of the top players in the country to keep an eye on as that NCAA tournament is coming quickly. And let's go to another kid that is definitely worth watching, because Texas Tech's JT Toppin, that kid is a big-time rebounder. He has defensive versatility. He can finish around the basket. Toppin is considered a potential immediate impact role player when he does join an NBA team. But he's another one of those guys that if he gets hot and if he gets a little help from his teammates, I mean, he could carry the Red Raiders to a few wins that you might not expect. But JT Toppin is a talented guy. Got another crazy talented freshman in 6'10", Caleb Wilson, who has the North Carolina Tar Heels back in the national conversation after what was mostly a forgettable season last year. Now, Caleb Wilson, he's not exactly like a dominant offensive player, but his length, his athleticism, they allow him to be a force on the offensive boards, and he does not mind going in and cleaning things up, getting offensive putbacks. He's also a very good defender. He can play against a few different positions, and again, that length allows him to be a rim defender in the paint. Now, I'm not sure if North Carolina is truly a title contender. Oh, but if Wilson raises his game, and again, if he gets a little help from his teammates, North Carolina might be a team to keep an eye on in the tournament. Another team I'm not totally sold on, but they've got a really talented player, and that is the Illinois Fighting Illini, because Keaton Wagler is talented. And when he plays well, yeah, look out. The 6'6 guard is considered a draft lottery prospect because of his high IQ playmaking, and he is a deadly shooter. Now, when you look at him, you look at Keaton Wagler and you go, I don't know, he's kind of thin. Looks like he needs to put on a few pounds. Oh, but he can flat out play, and he is climbing the draft boards. Keaton Wagler is a really fun player to watch. We'll finish off our preview of some of the top players to keep an eye on as March Madness is arriving with the University of Louisville freshman point guard Michael Brown Jr. Brown is a highly skilled, pure point guard. Now, this kid is a late bloomer, and he's grown 5 inches in the last few years. He is now starting to show some athletic gains as he kind of grows into his body. But Brown is skilled with either hand. He's a really gifted passer, and we know, again, having a great point guard, yeah, that can be a big advantage in March Madness. Now, is Louisville one of the top teams in the country? I mean, they're solid, but probably not. Oh, but if you're getting top-notch play from your point guard, if Brown is playing well, then Louisville might be just a little bit better than expected. Hey, we will continue to get you ready for March Madness here at The Dose. It is coming quickly, and I can't wait. Now, as we do so many weeks here at the Daily Dose, we need to get over to our Daily Dose Top 5. You know, we talked earlier about talented University of Kansas freshman Darren Peterson and about the growing concerns about his willingness to play. I mean, there have now been multiple games that with the outcome of the game hanging in the balance, Peterson is tapped out, saying he's having some sort of health problems or cramps or whatever, and he leaves his teammates to try to figure things out without him on the floor. Hey, there's no questioning Peterson's talent. He's clearly one of the top players in the country, but can you count on him? Maybe, maybe not. Hey, it isn't the first time that we have had an NBA draft prospect that had a few questions about whether or not he really liked to play the game. Today, our Daily Dose Top 5 is counting down 5 talented NBA prospects that had a few red flags about their desire to be great. Is Peterson so talented that these questions can be overlooked? Well, maybe our Daily Dose Top 5 will give us a chance to learn what has happened in the past. Let's go ahead and jump in. We start off at number 5. And we go back to a guy that was absolutely dominant at the collegiate level because Derek Coleman was a first-team All-Big East selection in his sophomore and his junior seasons. And as a senior, he was named Big East Player of the Year, and his number 44 jersey would eventually be retired by Syracuse. Hey, Derek Coleman was a monster. He could score, he could rebound, he could block shots, and it didn't hurt that he was left-handed. He helped lead the Orange to the national championship game as a freshman. He followed that up with 3 more dominant seasons. At 6'10", 230 pounds, Coleman looked like a can't-miss player at the NBA level. But there began to be some rumors that Coleman didn't really love to play. He just wanted to do enough to get paid. Well, in 1990, the New Jersey Nets took Derek Coleman with the number 1 overall pick, and it turned out the rumors were correct. Coleman was okay. He averaged 16 points. He averaged 9 rebounds per game over his 15-year career, but he never really excelled. He was fat. He never really applied himself, and his teams never really won much of anything. Derek Coleman was a talented guy, but he never quite lived up to the hype, and he lands on our list today at number 5. We arrive at number 4, and we get to a guy that never even played college ball, but ended up being the answer to an NBA trivia question. Because in 2003, the Cleveland Cavaliers selected high school phenom LeBron James with the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Well, the draft still had a ton of talent. Future superstars like Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade would be selected later in the first round. Oh, but with the 2nd overall pick, the Detroit Pistons would select Serbian big man Darko Milicic. Darko was without a doubt talented. A 7-footer, he had shown the ability to handle the ball like a guard, shoot the ball from distance, block shots in the paint, run the floor like a gazelle, and get this. He was only 18. He was a kid. He didn't have a lot of miles on him. But again, there were rumors. Rumors that Darko wasn't that competitive. And after being raised in a war-torn country, he had actually seen life or death. Well, basketball wasn't life or death to him. And again, the rumors proved true. Darko battled a few injuries, and he never really developed. He earned the nickname the Human Victory Cigar because when he entered the game, you knew it was over. Darko played 10 years in the NBA, but he averaged just 6 points a game. He averaged just 4 rebounds a game. He never really did much of anything. And after his career, he went back home to be a farmer. Darko didn't like the NBA. He didn't like the competition. He didn't like the business side of it. He didn't care about competing, and he lands today on our list at number 4. We reached number 3 on our list of NBA prospects that had a few red flags about their desire. And we get to a guy who has probably accomplished the most on our list today. And yet, there still seems to be something missing. Born in Cameroon, Joel Embiid started playing basketball at the age of 15. He modeled his career after NBA Hall of Fame center Akeem Olajuwon. At the age of 16, he moved to the United States, where as a high school senior, he led his team to a 33-4 record and a state championship. Well, Embiid was a 5-star recruit, and he committed to the University of Kansas. Joel Embiid was a Jayhawk for one season in 2013. He was named the Naismith College Player of the Year. He averaged 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. However, he suffered a back injury, and he would miss both the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament. He declared for the 2014 NBA draft, but he also underwent surgery for a foot injury. Well, he would be selected with the 3rd overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers, but then he would miss his entire rookie season. Now, maybe those injuries as a young person kind of scared Embiid. Or maybe Embiid is just extra cautious. Whatever. But he's never played more than 68 games in a single season. And when he does play, he can be dominant. He averaged 33 points and 10 rebounds per game in 2023 and 2024. He was named the league's most valuable player. But he doesn't always play. And he tends to avoid matchups against other top big men. Now, maybe it's just a coincidence, but he's also under 500 in the playoffs. He's won just 29 games in the postseason, and he's lost 30. Hey, no one questions Joel Embiid's talent. He just doesn't always seem to want to play. And he lands today on our list at number 3. We reached the number 2 entry on our list of NBA prospects that had some questions about their desire. And we go back to the 2013 NBA draft where we had players out there like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Victor Oladipo and Steven Adams and Dennis Schrader and Rudy Gobert and CJ McCollum. But instead of picking any of those guys, the Cleveland Cavaliers chose to take a big man out of Nevada, Las Vegas, who had averaged 16 points and 8 rebounds per game. But he had a shoulder injury, and so he didn't play quite as much. And again, there were rumors that he didn't really love to play, but they were just rumors. So the Cavs selected Anthony Bennett, and he might be the biggest bust in NBA history. Bennett played just 4 years in the NBA. He averaged 4 points a game. He has been named the worst number 1 overall pick in league history. Again, you can't believe every rumor, but sometimes they're correct. And the rumors about Bennett were correct, and he comes in today at number 2. So we reach the number 1 player on our list of NBA prospects that don't always seem to love playing the game. And I mean, who else could be here? After growing up in Australia, he moved to the United States to play a year of high school basketball and then signed to play at Louisiana State. And while with the Tigers, there were glimpses of his talent. He could run the floor like a guard despite being 6'10". He could lead the break himself like a point guard. He could defend. Well, he could defend when he felt like it. He could rebound. Well, he could rebound when he felt like it. There was just one big problem. He couldn't shoot a lick. Like, he couldn't score 20 points in an empty gym. Oh, and also, he didn't really seem to care. He didn't really seem to work at improving his shot. And also, he didn't win. The LSU Tigers went just 18-13 and missed the NCAA tournament. If you're a superstar and 68 teams got in. Shouldn't you be able to carry your team in? He didn't. But the Philadelphia 76ers made Ben Simmons the top pick of the 2016 NBA draft, and, well, he proceeded to make fools of him. In 7 seasons in the league, Simmons has played just 383 out of a possible 584 games. Sometimes it's because he says he's injured. Sometimes he says he doesn't feel like playing, but his game never improves. And again, he doesn't really seem to care. Ben Simmons is the poster child for players that don't care much about playing. Hey, I don't know if Kansas freshman Darren Peterson is deserving of this. I don't know if he's going to eventually be on a list like this in the future, but I do know this. When there are doubts about your desire to play, I immediately form some doubts. Because the college game, by comparison to the NBA, it's easy. What happens when it gets tough? And you're playing the best talent every night. And you're getting physically beaten up on every night. Hey, as our Daily Dose Top 5 shows, many times, those kind of players rarely reach their full potential. Hey, next week on The Dose, we will continue to get you ready for March Madness, and we just might have to take a look at some teams and some players. They might not be the blue blood teams or the blue blood players, but they might end up busting up your bracket. So be sure you tune into The Dose, and be sure you let a friend know to do the same. Hey, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening to the Daily Dose every week. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the texts. Thank you for the tweets. But more than anything, thank you for sharing the show, for sharing the videos, or for sharing the articles with someone that you know. We absolutely love it when you do that. Have to say thank you to JSP. Could not do any of this without you. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week, everybody.
It feels so self